Ladies and gentlemen, as the first light of morning gently breaks across the horizon, there is something deeply powerful about the way a new day begins. It is a moment filled with quiet promise, a sacred opportunity to reset your heart, to renew your mind, and to reconnect your spirit with the one who holds all things together. Before the noise of the world rushes in, before the responsibilities and challenges begin to weigh on you, there is an invitation, a divine invitation, to dwell in a place of peace, protection, and unwavering assurance. There is a truth that stands firm regardless of circumstances. You are not alone, and you are never unprotected. When you begin your day rooted in this truth, everything changes. Your fears lose their grip, your doubts lose their voice, and your heart becomes anchored in something far greater than the uncertainties of life. The world may shift, situations may evolve, but the presence of God remains constant, steady, and unshakable. This morning is not just another routine start. It is a sacred encounter waiting to happen. When you turn your thoughts toward God and allow your heart to rest in His promises, you step into a covering that cannot be shaken. You begin to understand that protection is not just physical, it is emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. It is the kind of protection that guards your mind from anxiety, your heart from fear, and your soul from despair. Think about what it means to truly dwell in a place of safety. It is not a temporary visit. It is a permanent residence. It is a permanent residence. It is choosing to remain in a posture of trust, even when life feels uncertain. It is believing that no matter what comes your way, there is a refuge that cannot be breached, a shelter that cannot be broken, and a presence that will never leave you. When you live from that place, you no longer react to life out of fear. You respond with faith. There will be moments when the path ahead seems unclear, when challenges rise unexpectedly, and when the weight of responsibility feels overwhelming. But even in those moments, there is a promise: you are covered, not partially, not occasionally, but completely. There is a divine protection that surrounds you like a shield, guarding you from what you can see and even from what you cannot. As you move through your day, remember that fear does not have authority over you. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but faith flourishes in trust. And trust is built in moments like this, quiet, intentional moments where you choose to believe that God is who He says He is and that He will do what He has promised. When you start your morning with that mindset, you are not just preparing for the day. You are positioning yourself for victory. It is easy to become consumed by what could go wrong, to dwell on possibilities that bring anxiety rather than peace. But you've been given a different perspective, a higher perspective. Instead of focusing on the unknown, you can focus on the one who knows all things. Instead of worrying about outcomes, you can rest in the assurance that every detail is in His hands. This kind of confidence does not come from your own strength or ability. It comes from knowing that you are held, guided, and protected by a power far greater than anything you could ever face. It is a quiet confidence, a steady assurance that no matter what happens, you are secure. And when you carry that confidence into your day, it changes the way you walk, the way you speak, and the way you face challenges. There is also a deep comfort in knowing that you are cared for personally. This is not a distant or impersonal protection. It is intimate and intentional. Every detail of your life matters. Every concern you carry is seen. Every prayer you whisper is heard. You are not just one among many. You are known, valued, and deeply loved. As the day unfolds, there may be moments when you feel pressure, when unexpected difficulties arise, or when discouragement tries to take hold. In those moments, return to this truth: you are not facing anything alone. There is a presence with you that is constant and unwavering. You can call on that presence at any time, in any place, and find strength, peace, and guidance. Let this morning be a declaration of trust. Let it be a moment where you choose faith over fear, peace over anxiety, and confidence over doubt. Speak to your heart and reminded of what is true. You are protected, you are guided, you are sustained. No matter what lies ahead, you are covered by a love that does not fail and a power that does not weaken. And as you step forward into your day, carry this awareness with you. Let it shape your thoughts, influence your decisions, and steady your emotions. When challenges come, stand firm. When uncertainty arises, remain confident. When fear tries to whisper, let faith speak louder. This is not just a hopeful thought. It is a living reality available to you right now. You can walk through this day with a sense of calm that cannot be explained, a strength that cannot be shaken, and a peace that surpasses all understanding. It begins here in this moment with a simple but powerful choice: to trust, to believe, and to rest in the presence of God. So take a deep breath, quiet your heart, and step into this day knowing that you are not just starting another routine. You are stepping into a day that is already covered, already guided, and already held in the hands of a faithful and loving God. To truly dwell in God's presence is to move beyond a surface-level connection and step into a deep, abiding relationship that shapes every part of your life. It is not about a few moments of prayer spoken in a hurry or a passing thought given in times of need. It is about making a conscious decision to remain spiritually anchored throughout your day. When you choose to dwell, you are choosing consistency over convenience, surrender over control, and trust over uncertainty. This kind of posture creates a foundation that cannot easily be shaken, no matter what challenges arise. There is a profound difference between visiting a place of safety and living in it. Many people seek God only when they feel overwhelmed, afraid, or uncertain, treating His presence as a temporary refuge rather than a permanent dwelling. But true peace is not found in occasional encounters. It is found in continual connection. When your heart learns to stay in that place of closeness with God, you begin to experience a level of security that is not dependent on circumstances. Even when life feels unpredictable, your spirit remains steady because it is rooted in something unchanging. This security is not based on what you can control or predict. In fact, it often becomes most evident when you realize how little control you actually have. The world is filled with uncertainties, unexpected challenges, sudden changes, and moments that test your strength. Yet, when you dwell in God's presence, you are reminded that your safety does not come from having all the answers, but from trusting the one who does. That realization shifts your focus from fear to faith, from anxiety to assurance. When you begin your day intentionally placing yourself in God's presence, you are doing more than just setting a positive tone. You are aligning your heart with truth. You are reminding yourself that you are not alone, that you are guided, and that you are guided, and that you are protected. This alignment affects how you think, how you respond, and how you carry yourself throughout the day. Instead of reacting out of panic when difficulties arise, you respond with calmness because your foundation is secure. There is also a sense of rest that comes from dwelling in God's presence. It is a rest that goes beyond physical relaxation. It is a deep inner peace that quiets your thoughts and steadies your emotions. In a world that constantly demands your attention and pulls you in different directions, this kind of rest becomes essential. It allows you to step back from the noise and reconnect with what truly matters. It reminds you that your worth is not defined by your performance, your achievements, or the opinions of others, but by your relationship with God. This rest does not mean that life becomes free of challenges. Difficulties will still come, responsibilities will still demand your attention, and moments of uncertainty will still arise. But when you dwell in God's presence, those challenges no longer have the power to overwhelm you. You face them from a place of strength rather than weakness, from a position of confidence rather than fear. You begin to understand that while circumstances may change, your source of security remains constant. Another important aspect of dwelling in God's presence is the sense of closeness it creates. It is not a distant or abstract connection, It is personal and intimate. You begin to recognize that God is not far away, waiting for you to reach a certain level of perfection before Dr. Awing near. He is present with you in every moment, ready to guide, comfort, and strengthen you. This awareness transforms your perspective, allowing you to see each day as an opportunity to walk closely with Him rather than navigate life on your own. As this awareness grows, it begins to influence your choices and actions. You become more mindful of how you speak, how you think, and how you treat others, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to reflect the peace and security you have found. Your life becomes a reflection of the presence you dwell in, and others begin to notice a difference. There is a calmness in your spirit, a steadiness in your attitude, and a confidence that cannot be easily shaken. It is also in this place of dwelling that your faith is strengthened. Faith is not built in moments of ease, but in moments of trust. Each time you choose to remain in God's presence despite uncertainty, your faith grows deeper and stronger. You begin to rely less on your own understanding and more on His guidance. You learn to trust not only in the outcomes you desire, but also in the process you are walking through. This kind of faith creates resilience. It enables you to stand firm when others might falter, to remain hopeful when situations seem discouraging, and to keep moving forward even when the path is not clear. It gives you the confidence to face whatever comes your way, knowing that you are not standing alone. There is a strength within you that comes from the presence you dwell in, a strength that goes beyond your own abilities. Over time, dwelling in God's presence becomes less of a deliberate effort and more of a natural way of living. It becomes a habit of the heart, a constant awareness that you carry with you wherever you go. Whether you are in moments of joy or moments of difficulty, that connection remains. It becomes your source of peace in chaos, your anchor in uncertainty, and your refuge in times of trouble. And as you continue to live in that place, you begin to understand that true security is not something you have to chase or achieve. It is something you already have when you choose to remain in Him. Fear has a subtle way of entering the mind, often without invitation, quietly planting thoughts of doubt, worry, and uncertainty. It thrives in the unknown, feeding on questions that have no immediate answers and magnifying situations beyond their reality. If left unchecked, it can shape your perspective, influence your decisions, and ultimately control the direction of your life. But there is a powerful alternative that changes everything, choosing faith over fear. This is not a one-time decision. It is a daily, intentional act that transforms how you think, how you respond, and how you live. When you wake up in the morning, your mind begins to process the day ahead. It may remind you of responsibilities, challenges, or situations that feel overwhelming. In those moments, fear often tries to take the lead, whispering that you are not ready, not capable, or not strong enough. But faith speaks a different language. Faith reminds you that your strength does not come from within yourself alone, but from a source far greater. It reassures you that no matter what lies ahead, you are equipped, guided, and supported. The battle between fear and faith is fought in your thoughts. What you choose to focus on will determine which one grows stronger. If you dwell on worst-case scenarios, your fear will expand, making even small obstacles seem insurmountable. But when you fix your mind on truth, on the promises of God and His unwavering presence, your faith begins to rise. This shift does not always happen instantly, but with consistent practice, it becomes a natural response. Faith does not ignore reality. It reframes it. It acknowledges that challenges exist, but refuses to give them the final say. It looks at the same situation fear sees, but instead of asking, what if things go wrong? It asks, what if God is already working this out? That change in perspective brings a sense of calm and clarity that fear can never provide. It allows you to move forward with confidence, even when the outcome is not yet visible. There is also a strength that comes from trusting beyond what you can see. Fear demands proof, certainty, and control. It wants everything to be predictable before it allows you to feel secure. But faith operates differently. It is willing to step forward without having all the answers, believing that guidance will come along the way. This kind of trust frees you from the pressure of needing to control every detail, allowing you to rest in the assurance that you are being led. As you begin to choose faith over fear, you will notice a transformation in how you respond to situations. What once caused anxiety may now be met with calmness. What once felt overwhelming may now seem manageable. This does not mean that fear disappears completely, but it loses its authority. It no longer dictates your actions or defines your outlook. Instead, faith becomes the guiding force, shaping your responses and strengthening your resolve. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is its ability to bring peace in the midst of uncertainty. Life does not always provide clear answers or predictable outcomes. There will be moments when you do not know what to expect, when plans change and when circumstances feel beyond your control. In those moments, fear tries to fill the gap with worry and doubt, but faith fills that same space with peace. It reminds you that uncertainty does not mean absence of purpose, and lack of clarity does not mean lack of direction. This peace is not dependent on external conditions. It is not something that comes and goes based on what is happening around you. It is rooted in your trust in God's character, His faithfulness, His wisdom, and His ability to work all things together for your good. When you anchor your thoughts in these truths, you begin to experience a steadiness that remains even when everything else feels unstable. Choosing faith over fear also requires letting go of certain habits of thinking. It means refusing to entertain negative assumptions and learning to replace them with truth. It means being mindful of the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind. This is not always easy, especially in a world that constantly presents reasons to worry. But with practice, it becomes a discipline that strengthens your inner life and shapes your perspective. Another important part of this transformation is understanding that you are not meant to carry your burdens alone. Fear often isolates, making you feel as though you have to figure everything out by yourself, but faith reminds you that you have access to guidance, strength, and support at all times. You can bring your concerns to God, trusting that He hears you and cares about every detail of your life. This act of surrender lightens the weight you carry and allows you to move forward with greater ease. As this mindset becomes more established, it begins to influence not only your inner thoughts, but also your outward actions. You become more willing to take steps of courage, to pursue opportunities, and to face challenges head on. Fear may still whisper, but it no longer has the final word. Faith becomes louder, stronger, and more consistent, guiding you toward growth and progress. Over time, this transformation creates a ripple effect in your life. Your confidence grows, your resilience strengthens, and your ability to navigate difficulties improve. Yes, you begin to see obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities to trust more deeply. Each experience becomes a reminder that you are capable of more than you once believed, not because of your own strength, but because of the faith that sustains you. This is how your mindset is transformed, not through a single moment, but through a series of choices made day after day. Each time you choose faith over fear, you are reinforcing a new way of thinking, a new way of living, and a new way of seeing the world around you. And as that transformation continues, you begin to walk with a confidence that is steady, a peace that is unshakable, and a trust that carries you through every circumstance. There is something deeply reassuring about knowing that you are not left to navigate life on your own, exposed to every uncertainty and vulnerable to every challenge. The idea of God's protection is not distant or symbolic. It is real, active, and all-encompassing. It reaches into every area of your life, covering not only what you can see, but also what you cannot. This kind of protection goes beyond physical safety. It guards your mind, your emotions, your decisions, and your spiritual well-being. in ways that you may not always immediately recognize. Many people think of protection as something that responds only in moments of danger, but divine protection is constant. It does not come and go based on circumstances. It remains steady regardless of what is happening around you. Even in moments when you feel unaware or uncertain, there is a covering over your life that is quietly at work. There are things you are shielded from that you may never fully understand. Situations you never encountered, problems that were redirected, and outcomes that were changed without your knowledge. This unseen aspect of protection is a powerful reminder that God is always attentive, always present, and always working for your good. What makes this protection even more meaningful is how personal it is. It is not general or impersonal, as though it applies broadly without attention to individual lives. It is specific to you, your needs, your struggles, your journey. Every detail matters. Every concern is seen. There is a level of care that goes beyond what human understanding can fully grasp. You are not just one among many. You are known intimately, and that knowledge shapes how you are protected and guided each day. This personal care becomes especially evident in the way God protects your inner life. The battles you face are not always visible. Often the greatest struggles happen within your thoughts and emotions. Worry, fear, discouragement, and doubt can quietly take hold if left unchecked. But God's protection extends into those areas as well. He guards your heart against being overwhelmed and your mind against being consumed by negativity. When you turn to Him, you find a sense of peace that does not come from external circumstances, but from an inner assurance that you are safe in His care. There is also protection and guidance. Not every form of protection involves preventing something from happening. Sometimes it involves leading in a direction that keeps you from harm. There are decisions you make each day, some small, some significant, and each one has the potential to shape your path. When you seek God's direction, you are inviting His wisdom into those choices. That guidance can redirect you, slow you down, or even close certain doors, not as a form of denial, but as a form of protection. What may seem like a delay or disappointment can often be a safeguard keeping you from situations that are not meant for you. Trusting in this kind of protection requires a shift in perspective. It means believing that even when things do not go according to your plans, there is still a purpose at work. It means understanding that protection does not always look like ease or comfort. Sometimes it looks like redirection, correction, or even temporary difficulty. But through it all, there is a consistent thread of care that runs beneath every experience. Another important aspect of God's protection is the confidence it builds within you. When you truly believe that you are covered, it changes how you approach life. You become less hesitant, less fearful, and more willing to move forward. You are not paralyzed by what-if scenarios because you know that whatever happens, you are not facing it alone. This confidence is not rooted in your own abilities, but in the assurance that you are supported by a power greater than anything you could encounter. This does not mean that challenges will disappear or that life will always be easy. There will still be moments of difficulty, times when you feel tested, and situations that stretch your strength. But even in those moments, the presence of protection remains. It may not remove the challenge, but it will sustain you through it. It will give you the strength to endure, the wisdom to respond, and the peace to remain steady. There is also a sense of comfort that comes from knowing that you do not have to be in control of everything. The desire to control outcomes often comes from a place of fear, a need to ensure that nothing goes wrong. But when you trust in God's protection, you can release that burden. You can let go of the need to manage every detail and instead rest in the assurance that your life is in capable hands. This does not lead to passivity, rather allows you to act with clarity and confidence, free from the weight of constant worry. Over time, this understanding deepens your relationship with God. You begin to see His hand in your life more clearly, in the moments of provision, in the times of guidance, and even in the challenges that ultimately lead to growth. Your trust grows stronger because it is built on experience, on the repeated realization that you have been cared for in ways both seen and unseen. As this awareness becomes a part of your daily life, it begins to shape how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to the world around you. You carry a sense of assurance with you, a quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you are covered. This does not make you careless. It makes you courageous. It allows you to face each day with a steady heart, knowing that you are protected not just in moments of need, but in every moment of your life. The way you begin your morning has a powerful influence over everything that follows, often more than you realize in the moment. Before a single word is spoken, before any task is completed, your heart and mind are already being shaped by the direction of your first thoughts. If your day begins in rush, distraction, or worry, those feelings tend to carry forward, affecting your decisions, your emotions, and your interactions. But when your morning starts with intentional trust in God, something shifts within you. You step into the day with clarity instead of confusion, with calmness instead of anxiety, and with purpose instead of pressure. There is a quiet strength in choosing to pause at the start of your day and center your thoughts on God's presence. It may seem like a small act, something simple and even easy to overlook, but its impact reaches far beyond those first few moments. It sets the tone for how you perceive everything else. When you begin with trust, you are making a declaration that no matter what happens, your confidence is not placed in circumstances, but in something far greater. This foundation becomes the lens through which you view your entire day. As responsibilities begin to unfold and demands start to rise, that initial moment of trust continues to guide you. Situations that might normally create stress are met with a steadier response. You find yourself less reactive and more composed, less overwhelmed and more focused. This is not because your day is free of challenges, but because your perspective has been aligned for the very beginning. You are no longer approaching your day from a place of uncertainty. You are moving forward from a place of assurance. There is also a sense of direction that comes from starting your day this way. When you take time to acknowledge God at the beginning, you are inviting His guidance into every step that follows. Decisions become clearer, not necessarily because every answer is immediately obvious, but because your heart is positioned to listen and discern. You become more attentive to what truly matters and less distracted by what does not. This clarity helps you prioritize your time, your energy, and your focus in a way that reflects purpose rather than pressure. Another important aspect of beginning your day with trust is the emotional stability it provides. Life is filled with unexpected moments, some small, others significant, that can easily disrupt your sense of peace. Without a strong foundation, these moments can lead to frustration, discouragement, or even fear. But when your day starts with trust, you carry a sense of inner calm that is not easily shaken. You are better equipped to handle interruptions, delays, and challenges without losing your composure. This stability also influences how you interact with others. Your words become more thoughtful, your responses more patient, and your attitude more gracious. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with intention. The peace you carry within begins to reflect outwardly, creating a positive impact on those around you. In this way, your morning decision to trust does not only affect you, it extends into your relationships and your environment. Starting your day with trust also helps to quiet the noise of negative thinking. It is easy for the mind to become filled with worries about what could go wrong or concerns about things beyond your control. But when you begin with a focus on God, those thoughts are replaced with truth. You remind yourself of His faithfulness, His provision, and His presence. This shift in thinking creates a mental environment where fear has less space to grow and confidence has room to develop. There is a discipline involved in this kind of beginning. It requires intention and consistency, especially in a world that often encourages haste and distraction. It may mean waking up a little earlier, setting aside your phone, or choosing stillness over activity for a few moments. These small decisions, repeated daily, begin to form a habit that strengthens your spiritual life and shapes your overall mindset. Over time, it becomes less of an effort and more of a natural rhythm. As this habit develops, you begin to notice its long-term effects. Your days feel more purposeful, your responses more measured, and your outlook more hopeful. Even on difficult days, there is a sense of grounding that keeps you from feeling completely overwhelmed. You may still face challenges, but you face them with a different kind of strength, one that is rooted in trust rather than dependent on circumstances. This way of starting your day also deepens your awareness of God's presence throughout the day. It is not limited to those first few moments in the morning. It carries with you into every situation. You become more conscious of His guidance, more receptive to His direction, and more confident in His care. This ongoing awareness creates a sense of connection that remains steady, regardless of what you encounter. Over time, this practice transforms not only your mornings, but your entire approach to life. You begin to see each day as an opportunity rather than an obligation, as a gift rather than a burden. Your perspective shifts from merely getting through the day to living it with intention and purpose, and all of this begins with a simple, powerful choice made at the start of each morning to trust, to believe, and to place your day in the hands of God as you reflect on everything that has been spoken. It becomes clear that this is more than just a message for a moment. It is a way of living that has the power to transform every part of your life. When you choose to dwell in God's presence, you are stepping into a place of unshakable security. When you choose faith over fear, you are reclaiming control over your thoughts and allowing truth to guide your perspective. When you trust in His protection, you begin to walk with a confidence that is not dependent on circumstances. And when you start your day with intentional trust, you set a foundation that carries you through every challenge, every decision, and every unexpected turn. All of these truths come together to form a life that is grounded, steady, and filled with peace. Not a life without difficulties, but a life that is not defined by them. You begin to understand that no matter what you face, you are never alone, never unprotected, and never without guidance. There is a constant presence with you, one that strengthens you when you feel weak, calms you when you feel anxious, and leads you when the path is unclear. This kind of life is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone who is willing to trust, to believe, and to remain connected. It does not require perfection, only willingness. It does not demand that you have all the answers, only that you place your confidence in the one who does. And as you continue to walk in this truth day after day, you will begin to see the difference, not only in how you feel, but in how you live, how you respond, and how you move forward. So as you step into each new morning, remember that you are stepping into a day that is already covered, already guided, and already filled with purpose. And no matter what comes your way, choose to trust God completely and walk forward in faith, knowing that He is with you every step of the way.